started going to school and was building my music career, I still remembered, if I'm going to make an album, I want to do it with my people, because the only music I wanted to make was the music. We all start, every artist, we all don't start because we want to make money. We start from loving the music. And I've never stopped loving the music, and that's why I'm not in the studio rushing for anything. There are people who really just enjoy to make music, yeah, as you have all seen online here. I'm a jukebox machine on my own. How God created me. Give me a beat, give me a microphone. Take away the microphone, take away the beat, I'll still sing a cappella because the music just comes out. So when I say jukebox, that's why we were good for producers. In a day, they could play 40 instruments and 40 choruses and verses and songs will come out of this mouth because it was so easy. And for these artists that they make big, it's a process. They have to fashion them, and they also have to make sure that they have songs ready for them, because when they are beautiful and standing on the stages like that, most of them, they ain't got the gift or the talent. They are standing on somebody. And that's why I didn't want that career. But that's mostly the big part of the Zambian music industry. At least in the old age, you could say that the people used to write the music. But the music industry you have, especially the last 20 years, I think now is changing because of the new people who are coming. But the last 20 years, you've had artists that were actually manipulating other people's careers and lives, stealing songs from people who are not yet famous. They thought they rushed. But I guess God is always ahead of the journey. That's why he says, I will go before you. So when I came here, it was still like, I was traumatized thinking about how can your own people do you like this? And you also think of what you bring to the table. I started school in Zambia, not because I wanted money, because I love Zambia. Women who work for me are Zambian women, not just my family. I always thought of how I can bring something to the table for my people. When I came here, I found the Zambian community. I had one problem with one person, but that person managed to rally all the Zambian people up. And that's why I say my pain is Zambian people, because I found it still up to now amazing that Zambian people can hate you and destroy you without even knowing you, because they love somebody else. The way they love Mwizikanji, they can kill you because they love Mwizikanji so much. For Mwizikanji's sake and the love they have for Mwizikanji, and I give this as an example, they will kill a kidist. That's what has happened to me my whole life. So when I came here, I had one problem with one Zambian sister. I won't mention names. I've grown now. Out of bitterness and anger, I would mention names. But God said I can tell the story. I don't have to mention names, especially when I've already mentioned them. I had a problem with one sister here, and that sister managed to get a team. I was pregnant with my child. And I woke up that morning, and this is where the build-up with Zambian people started now going high. Because what I came with in Zambia, I could deal with. I was healing with it here. Because even before I got pregnant for my son, I was ready. I was pregnant for my second son. I was still ready to do things with Zambian people. You understand, along the way. So when I was pregnant here with my second child, after the problem with that sister, I don't know what that sister did. The page is called The Zambians in the Netherlands. I'll never understand. Even up to now, I ask God sometimes. I had a problem with one person, and that person lived longer here than me. So which means they had more power and had more favor, and they were loved. I was a stranger. I don't blame people, but I blame Zambian people for me, even if my family tell me they have a problem with somebody. I don't care if they're Nigerian or Kenyan, but I want to get to know them and see the problem for myself before I can believe what you told me. Because Sometimes people just tell you things, and just because they are family, we can't believe it. Yeah, but the Zambian people, the Zambian community here believed it. And then the page, I don't know who is the administrator, and they went online, the bullying started. And I made a mistake one time. I was new here with my child. I got stuck on a train. And I don't know, I couldn't use my bank pass. So I called the same lady I had a problem with. I said, I'm coming this side. Can you send me 10 euros so that I top up my train card? Because I don't know how to do my card. There's something playing funny. So can you send it on somebody? I do my own thing. So I gave somebody's bank account so she could send that, and somebody helped me at the train station. By then I was not speaking perfect language. I was still new here. And that came to bite me back because I saw it on those platforms. Then the insults on my husband from Zambian people's mouth, how the devil uses people, started. So it looked like my husband was so poor that he couldn't take care of me. So the whole bullying online was extreme. And then calling me on the phone, on my private phone, because they shared my number so that they could let me know. I was new, I was alone, I was far away from home. I didn't understand what was going on. And also, I didn't know where I went wrong with so many people. I knew the problem I had with that girl. And I could face that. But all of this that she came with, because they love her and because they are Zambian people, but I'm also a Zambian, I didn't understand that, my brothers and sisters. I went to do the Voice of Holland. Before I went to do the Voice of Holland, I was pregnant. The trauma trigger here where I was standing, I still remember here. I got a phone call and somebody said, you need to see what is now on Facebook about you. And when I looked on Facebook, going through the comments, the Zambians that I had met before that I never had problems with, that were not affected with this matter, the way they were writing, the laughing, the way when I sing, when I think of how I'm singing for God, it starts from deep within. So those voices started to play. I remember I got sick right here, right then with my pregnancy, and I went to sit down and I told my husband, I thought, you know what? I don't feel well. I need to sit. I need to let it first cool down with my firstborn around, and I still need to keep myself together so I can pass this day. That's how I stood up. That night came. I was rushed to the hospital. I don't know if it's the stress, whatever it is. And then they also found out that I had a bladder infection and my BP, everything going high. They had to start controlling me, controlling the child and everything. And in giving so many medication, and the devil putting me in that predicament. I was not supposed to be at the hospital in that time, but spiritually I didn't know. And I was in the hospital that day. Somebody made a mistake. They gave extra medication. The pregnancy went wrong. That's where the trauma now started, almost starting to lose my second child. I'm in the hospital fighting to keep my second child. That girl and the Zambian community in Holland still on my back. And I come from a family where I am the one, I don't want to please myself, but my sisters are not expressive and they will not go the extra mile that the way I would do it. Like if one of them is looking down, I probably would tell. And if I see something going on in their lives, even when I'm far, I care where I want them to know that they are not alone. But my sisters and my brothers are not like that to me. And I've always been the strong one. So when you're the strong one, there is no one to really pick you, you know. So you deal with everything by yourself. And people think it just pass you like that. So God saved my child, gave birth, started healing, managed again to find joy and happiness after that. And then I thought I'm going to go back to music, doing school at the same time. I remember I did the auditions for The Voice of Holland, got in, was so excited. And the moment I got in, I called Redo. I called Zambia. I said, you know what? Now I'm in The Voice of Holland. I found a white man, a sponsor who wants to help me to make sure that I can do this. After the show, straight away, I can do the album. So maybe we can start doing songs now. Gave them money. Let's do the album. Fernando was my manager then. Did The Voice of Holland, almost went to the live shows. When I came out, excited, I'm going to put my album out. But my brothers, the same ones I wanted to carry again. You see the stupid fool in me? You see the sharing? I could have probably looked for a producer here in Holland. But the devil took me back to the place where God removed me. I never saw those guys or heard anything from them again. They gave me one song and 3 instruments for the money we paid. And then I was broken again. I looked like a thief. If a black woman takes money from white people and promises to do something and she doesn't do it, she looks like a thief. That's how I lost the opportunity. I was so angry because my whole life I've been fighting to put out this music and everything is always taken away, manipulated, or somebody do something to scatter it. But God is faithful. I managed to, I said I'll stop making music after that experience. And I stayed away from the Zambian people. I kept to myself. I went to school. I finished my school. I get a job. The first job, the devil was also waiting in that place. I get in a group of women and one gay man. Evil, wicked people. One person made a mistake in our team. When we work here in the health department in the Zoro, you have to have login information. You have to log in because we have to write everything about our work report, what we call reportage. And what was happening, I didn't like it. One of us forgot to close the computer. And there was a black woman actually. I had to stand against my own people. A black woman saw the computer open. She saw the messages there and the video. The video was of the woman. She made a pornography, sexy video for her husband naked. A grown woman in her 50s. She sent it to her husband because he was international somewhere else as anniversary present. I don't agree with people doing that. But she did that, Brother Warren. And those sisters, one of them, the black one. And I recently met her, you cannot believe, 2 weeks ago, I recently met that woman outside my son's school when I was bringing my son, when I was picking bringing Apostle and they Peter, because now they go to the same school. Apostle is no longer in baby school. He's now in the normal school with his brother. He's not done with preschool. I met that woman and I looked at her. She didn't look well. The Lord has done her well. And I looked at her and she couldn't say nothing to me. She wouldn't even dare. So that black woman took the video out of that woman's Facebook. It can happen to all of us. And what she did with that video in the department of our jobs, she started sharing it with everybody. And there are a lot of people who saw that woman naked who were getting excited at our job to see another sister down.